He paused and emphasized every word. The issue is, how will we react to newly discovered data? Could we accept that what we have believed for so long are now invalid theories? Or will we still stick to our former notions because we have considered them to be absolute truths? Professor Ye concurred. Experimental science is just a collection of knowledge gathered from many experiments with measurements, observations, and verified data. As scientists, we always seek, learn, and research based on reasoning, making hypotheses, and proving that they are true or false. Everything we have built is entirely formed based on measuring apparatuses. However, with the advancement of science, when these apparatuses become increasingly sophisticated and accurate, we will be able to collect new data to supplement that which came before and continue to build upon the current science. Strictly speaking, experimental science is an ever-changing process that complements what was previously imperfect. Dr. Mitchell smiled. But there will come a day when we find completely different data from what we had previously. We will make new hypotheses to change current notions. And we will have a scientific revolution subverting everything we built before. Suddenly, Dr. Mitchell turned to ask me, "You are also a scientist. What do you think about it?" I thought for a moment, then replied, "A scientific revolution like that will probably require more than just coming up with a new theory to usurp former ones. In my opinion, first we have to contemplate the previous notions to find out why they are no longer valid. As Professor Ye said before, if we invent more sophisticated and precise equipment, we will understand that the previous apparatuses were imperfect. Suppose we can prove that the new data is more reasonable, accurate, and valuable. In that case, we could provide evidence to justify a new theory and replace the previous one, which no longer holds true. However, I think it will probably require a long time to change people's mindsets." We continued to discuss scientific discoveries, but most of the time, the conversation was between Drive Mitchell and Professor Ye. Thomas and I just sat and listened, occasionally engaging in some polite conversation. I saw Thomas was concentrating as he listened to their conversation, sometimes smiling without saying anything. Perhaps because he was a businessman rather than a scientist like us, he was more sparing of words. After the meal, Dr. Mitchell asked me, "We are going to meet the Most Venerable Sheng Yen tomorrow. Would you like to go with us?" Of course, I could not refuse such a rare opportunity. This prearranged meeting took place in the University of Taipei lecture hall with some students and professors in attendance. Professor Ye was the host of the meeting. He opened the meeting by addressing the astronaut, Dr. Mitchell. "Please share with the Most Venerable Sheng Yen your strange experience when you were flying in space and ask him your questions." Dr. Mitchell began, addressing the Most Venerable Sheng Yen. "Most Venerable, after finishing our mission on the moon, we began our return to Earth. While flying through space, our spacecraft had to continuously spin on a 360 degrees axis to reduce the heat emitted by the sunlight. Therefore, I could see the Earth, Moon, and Sun every 2 minutes through the spacecraft's windows. Additionally, since there is no atmosphere in space, we could also see the planets very clearly. From the Earth, we look at the sky and see the twinkling stars due to the effect of the atmosphere. However, in space, it all glows like a giant grid of thousands of shining diamonds like stars. It was an incredible sight. Nowadays, people can see these images from the Hubble telescope or in pictures published online by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. By looking closely, we can see that the universe is extremely beautiful and cannot be described in words. As a scientist, I know all cells, all atoms in the bodies of myself and my friends, and even the atoms which make up a spacecraft, originated on our planet, which originated from the universe. All material phenomena come from this universe. During the flight back to Earth, I became aware that my body and everything in the universe is actually undifferentiated. Instead of being an individual, an independent part, I understood that all share the same origin. At that moment, I found myself immersed in a strange sense of inexpressible peace, and I continued to experience it whenever I was still. As astronauts, of course. We were very busy controlling the spacecraft while finishing our scientific experiments. However, I sometimes stop to look out of the window to admire the wondrous beauty of the universe and enjoy that strange sense of inner peace.